Welcome back. This is Danberg SC. We are doing a recap of Path to Shodan, or Journey to Shodan. My trials to try to hit that rank. It is November 3rd when I'm recording this, 2021, and I'm going to do a recap of October, and we get into November. So this might be a long one. They've all been kind of long, though, to be quite honest. Let me get my document up for today. So welcome to November of 2021. Unfortunately, the number has not changed from up top, but we will talk about that today as we get into it. Cheers, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world when you're watching this. So a couple things from this month to get out of the way first. The big four that I'll go into more detail later is I did not promote this month from HQ. Or last month. I was really trying to do it. I'll talk a little bit about that later, but I didn't get it. The first of this month was my 1 year anniversary of learning shogi. Actually, let me see if I have them in here. If I don't, then I'll just say screw it. But there was exactly 1 year ago, I purchased a set of shogi pieces, and I don't have it here, but in that box of shogi pieces, there was the way that the pieces move. No, I don't have it. It's fine. Whatever. Sorry. This is terrible recording. In it were the way that the pieces move. So I had a piece of paper that showed me how all the pieces of shogi moved, and I learned how the pieces moved exactly 1 year ago on the first of this month. So it is my 1 year anniversary for my beginning of this journey, and I am still hard locked in HQ at my school. But we're going to get, hopefully, some progress this year. For my study, which I'll talk a little bit about later as well, I'm starting to do 7-move checkmates now, which is actually not that crazy, but considering I was having trouble finding single-move checkmates at the beginning of last year, and 3-move checkmates were like impossible. Now me starting 7-move checkmates is very interesting because you really have to be able to read where pieces are 3 or 4 moves away and be like, okay, that's still there, so that still protects this row. So it's difficult. It's I'm proud of myself. That's something I've been working on, and I'll talk about that in a little bit too. And then I have an actual tournament. I think that's how you spell it. I'm terrible at spelling. Whatever. I have an actual tournament this month. T-O-U-N. Whatever. I don't care. I have an actual tournament this month outside of my school, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit too. So what a terrible first 3 minutes of this video. We're going to keep on rolling. So let's talk about first last month's goals and what we were able to fail and what we were able to pass. So we did 2 out of 5 of our goals last month, but I'm being pretty strict on my fail. I either did it or I didn't do it. If I kind of improved, that's not still doing it in my opinion, so I just said I didn't do it. So first thing I wanted to do last month is I wanted to promote out of 2-piece drop within last month, which I really felt I could do. And I've been doing really well in those piece drop games. I just can't close them out. It's just my end game is always an issue where I can't finish. My end game is an issue, which I've said, my God, so many times in these recaps that my end game is the problem. So I wasn't able to do it, and because I couldn't do it, I put it as a fail. I'll talk a little bit about that later. This is one I want to talk a little bit about now. I really wanted to hit 7th class or Nanakyu last month, and I had the opportunity to do it, but I couldn't go to one of the rating tournaments I needed to go to. I had some obligations that weekend, and I couldn't join that tournament, and then I just didn't have enough games to give me the volume I needed to promote to Nanakyu. And then I went last weekend for the rating tournament, and I felt, okay, if I play really well, if I win 2, maybe 3 of my 4 games, I will promote into Nanakyu. And I went to the school tournament, and I was the lowest player at the tournament. The absolute lowest player, the bottom of the list. And I haven't been the bottom of the list in a very long time. Issue is a lot of people weren't able to come last weekend or to join last weekend, so it was all of the high level people that usually are there, and then there was me. and I was like, shit, I can't beat, like, I can get close to beating some of the 6th class and 5th class players. Right now I'm 8th class. So 6th class and 5th class, I can get to the end game, and usually with those games, I can't find the checkmate. So we're in a game where they've destroyed my castle, but I've destroyed their castle. I have a good enough attack where I can get in and destroy their castles and stuff like that. And then it comes down to the checkmate. And every game I've played, I've been the one to start initiating the checkmate phase, where they're trying to escape. They're trying to dodge and defend or put pieces between to stop my checkmate. And it always comes down to afterwards when I get to a certain point of the checkmate where I'm like, I'm out of moves. I can't do it anymore. And then I try to put them in a position where either if I have one more move, I win, or I put myself in a position where, okay, if I put this piece here, I don't think they can checkmate me. I'm either a defensive player at the end or an offensive player at the end of the game. Depending on the game, depending on the situation, I won't go on to it, but that's what I'm thinking about. And all of the games that I've lost, I have gotten to them to the point where I just need one more move. I need one more move. If you can't checkmate me in the current position, I'm going to win this game regardless of what you do. It's a forced checkmate. And they find the checkmate every game. So, but afterwards, when the teacher's looking it over, he goes, Dan, if you had done this, you have the checkmate. And I was like, shit. So again, my end game is always the problem. So the last tournament I went to, I played 4 games. I played one against a 7th class, an Anaku, and I beat him. So he's rated higher than me. I beat him, and I was like, boom, okay, yes, we're already beating players that are in the league that I feel I should be in, and that my teacher feels that I should be in. I just have to get that wealth of games in. I beat him. I played a 6th class, and the 6th class after that, I'll summarize. So I played 4 games. I played a 7th class, a 6th class, a 5th class, and a 3rd class. A very high rated player on the last game. So I beat my first game against the 7th, and then I went to the 6th. So my opponents got progressively more difficult as I played. So I have a very itchy nose this evening. I apologize. And so the 6th class player I played against is the guy that I used last time I played him. I got into a checkmate war, and my teacher's like, if you just put this piece down here, that was the winning condition. Same thing happened on this game. It was a different kind of a position overall, but I won't go into the details too much, but same thing where he had a castle, and I was like, I can't figure out how to destroy this castle. I can't figure out how to get into it without just throwing so much damage towards myself, where if I don't get the checkmate immediately after, I die, and I don't have enough pieces to destroy his castle and then start the checkmate process. If I had like 15 pieces in my hand, then I could basically just throw pieces at his wall, break the wall down, and then still have enough pieces left over to checkmate. But I didn't. I had I had 2 pieces in my hand and 2 promoted pieces in the back row, and I was like, I need to find a way to get into a spot where I can do this. And there was a move, I just didn't see it. It's a very, very difficult move to see, and you kind of have to know the castle and know how to break the castle, which I'm learning. I just didn't have it memorized. I couldn't see it. But afterwards, the teacher was like, what if you did that? And I looked, and I was still like, I don't know. And the guy was like, no, if you had found that move, I thought I was going to lose. And I remember, like, during the game, right before I played the move that killed myself, he actually got up and walked away for a second before he played his turn. And we have a 10-minute game with 30-second bonus time, Byoyomi. And he had about 8 minutes left. I had like 2 minutes left because, again, I play very slow, which I'll get to in the slow hands part. And he got up and walked away. Came back with like 4 minutes left, and he played a move, and I played a move, and I lost the game. I was like, so that was kind of how he was like preparing himself. Like, if he plays that move, trying to think about different moves or different things to do, and he was like, if he plays that move, I've lost this game. And I didn't find the move, so I lost the game, and it was rough. But it was a good learning experience again. So I was upset about that. And now I was realizing, like, while I was playing that game, I'm like, I really could potentially win this game. If I win this game, I really can promote I think today, even because I'm beating two people that are higher rated than I am by one league and then by two leagues. It should have pumped me up high enough, but I lost that game. So obviously I didn't lose that many points. I probably gained a slight amount of points, but lost a little bit from that game. And then I proceeded to lose my next two games as well. So I'm probably net negative from where I was, which means I'm farther away from that promotion, but I'm right on the cusp of that promotion right now. In order for me to promote, I need to hit 1,000 in my my point score, and right now my score in the school last tournament was actually here I'll just write it out. So I had 3 tournaments this month. My first tournament I had was I should have written this out here. So I had a tournament on 10-09. I had a tournament on 10-23. I had a tournament on 10-30, and I had a tournament on 10:30. Okay, and then the next one is going to be actually not this weekend. I'm going to have one on the 13th. I have one on the 13th, but we'll talk about that. So this tournament, I walked in with I didn't know my score before this, so that was the first tournament I had. I won, and I came out of that with. Oh, no, I'll just do it like this here. I came into the tournament with 950 as my score. So in this tournament, I started with 950. I played my games. When the next tournament came in, I came in 968. So I went up a couple games last month. If you watch my stuff, then I'll start trying to put these in next time. Went to this tournament, played really well, won 2, lost 2, but I lost 2 against people that were... I won 2 games that were against people that were my level, and I lost 2 against people that are higher than me. So my last time I went in was 986. So this was 2 for 2. This was 2 for 2, and this was 1 of 1 to 3. So wins versus losses: win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 3. But all the 2 I won, same as me, higher than me. Same as me, higher than me. This was everyone was higher than me. So I don't know what my score is going to look like, but I have a feeling it's probably a net negative. Probably it'll look something like this, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. Whatever. But that's not the point. I don't know what this one is yet. I will try to tell you what that one is coming up. But this is where I am right now. I need to hit 1,000 to hit 7th class. So I'm still walking away. I'll try to put this in for next time. Thank you. So yeah, the last 2 games I played in the tournament. So first game against the guy a little bit higher than me, I just won. I did really well. It was a close game at the end, but I found a really nice checkmate, won it. Second game, I played against a guy that I can usually get to the end game. Again, I didn't find the checkmate, so I lost the game. Third game, I played against my rival. I played my third game against my rival. He's a 5th class right now. He's very, very strong. And I was very upset because in that game, I played a move where I don't usually play a move. Let me try to talk about it a little bit. Let me try to talk about it just a little bit in this situation. So this is the board. If I'm just very quickly, I'm going to do a set of what the game usually looks like when I play. This is the Yagura system, which I play quite a bit, and my opponent also played for me last time. There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Usually at this point, they'll go here. Definitely bring that up there. Sorry, just give me a second here. And then my opponent did this. And there's a lot of different lines that you can do on this. I won't get into all the lines. But for some reason, what I should have done in this position, what I should have done 100% is push this pawn here. I should have pushed this pawn here. He takes, I take. And now if he does something like drops here, I can just kind of, like, I don't really care. I don't really care about it. I could just step back, and then if he tries to do something, like this, I just take, and he takes. and then I can just step here. Or I mean, there's a lot of things. It doesn't matter. But what I did in this position, instead of pushing this pawn, I brought my silver forward. Then he brought this forward here, and then I pushed this pawn. And what this did was when he took and I took, he dropped the pawn here to block, and we had, no, it wasn't this situation. I had done it, and he didn't do that. He did this. He did this. Fuck, I don't remember. I apologize. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Anyway, what I ended up doing was I fucked up, and I brought this back here. And now the game went on, but I don't like this position as much as I like going up this path. This path I don't really enjoy too much, and he kind of screwed a lot of things over. It was just, I remember he did this. He did this. So obviously I can take, I just remember like, I just screwed myself because I don't play these lines. I don't play these lines ever. And instead of doing, I mean, this is a legit move. You can do that and then do this later. But this is not the lines that I practice. I don't practice these lines. I practice more, again, these kind of lines. Take. Then if they can drop here, something like this. I step back. They can bring forward. I step forward. You bring this over. We have games. It doesn't matter. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting too into this point that doesn't really matter. And I played this move like I showed you that I just don't do, and I lost the game. And afterwards, I lost the game hard. And I was like, man, I can usually at least get to endgame with this kid and play and get good to the point where it's like, if you give me one more turn, I can kill you. And if I just find the checkmate, then I win. And I lost the game in this position. I was really pissed off, and I was like, I was really tilted. I was really, really tilted. And I was like, okay, well, that's that. I'm lost 2 of my games, and I'm against a third class next, and he's gonna kick my ass. And he really did kick my ass. I won't go into that game, but he played the bishop exchange against me, and I'm just not good at that style yet when I'm playing against someone that's high class. And he kicked the shit out of me. I learned a lot from all the 3 losses I had. I learned a lot from all 3 losses. I learned how to break down a castle. I learned how to not just play this stupid fucking move, which I always do. And then I learned from the last game how to defend the bishop exchange in the order that he had done, that I had played. It was a really good game to learn from. I lost in like 70 moves though. Usually my games can go like 120, 130 moves, or I'll beat my opponent in like 60 or 70 moves. But I haven't lost in 70 moves in a long time. And it felt bad, but I was like, yeah, he just kicked my ass. So that was it. This is why I'm not in 8th class. I wasn't able to play one of my tournaments that I should have played in between these 2. I just didn't have enough games. If I had played in the tournament between the 9th and the 23rd, I would have probably hit the 1,000 during this tournament here. Right? It would have been probably 950, 968, 986, and then this tournament I would have gone into as 1,000 and then lost a little bit, maybe dropped back down, or whatever. But I would have been able to promote, I think, but I didn't. Next up, we'll continue on. I'm just going to keep pushing forward. I don't want to spend 3 hours talking about this, but get over my ego, understanding I'm not as good as I am. Making losing easier. I give myself a pass on this. I used to just get angry if I was losing against anyone, but now I'm realizing like the way I lose is more important to me about how I feel. Losing a game now because I play a move which I thought was good and then realized was a bad move, I'm like okay with losing like that now. I'm fine with being, okay, I thought that this idea was a good idea. He ended up killing me, and now I'm dead. Or in the end game, I didn't see this checkmate. I'll go back and look later and be like, oh, son of a bitch, I didn't see this checkmate. I've realized that I have these problems still with my game, and it's not that I'm better than I think I am. It's just I don't know these things yet. I need to learn these things. So when I really get tilted now, when I really get angry, is when I make a move which I know is bad, which I've made in the past, which I've like studied and I know is a bad move, but I made that move anyway. I did that yesterday. I played 5 games a couple days back online, and I made this move which I know is a bad move, and I was like, I literally got up and walked around my house for like 15 minutes, like fuming. And my wife was like, "Are you okay? You shouldn't play if you're going to get this angry." And I was like, I'm so just amazed about how stupid I am for playing that move, which I know is bad, but I just played it anyway because I thought it was good, even though I know for a fact it's a terrible move. I was like, why did I do that? I was so upset. I was so upset for the longest time. I was just pacing around my house, pissed. Eventually I calmed down, but yeah. So that's, I think I'm over that now. I understand losing is a way for me to learn, and I've put myself into that mentality where if I lose because I'm making a mistake that I didn't know was a bad move, or I thought was a bad move and is not, then I have no gripes with my loss. I treat it as a learning experience. What I get angry is if I make a mistake because I'm just being stupid. That's bad for me. I'm trying to get over the fact of losing based on time crunch at the end, where if I had, an extra minute, I would have been able to find this checkmate, but I only had 30 seconds to find it or something like that. I'm kind of giving myself the ability to say, okay, well, your end game isn't as good. You need to be able to see that in 30 seconds, not in a minute and a half. You have to do it in 30 seconds. So practice end game. And it gets me like, okay, well, I have the ability to find it. I just need to be able to see it faster. So I need to be able to read quicker. So that's just what it is. I'm going to keep working on that, but I give myself a pass for now. I'm over this ego of like, oh, I feel like I should be able to beat this guy because I'm higher than him. I have none of those feelings anymore. So I feel good about that. Next is slowing my hands down. As I said earlier, when I'm playing just about anyone, my opponent has like 3 minutes left and I've got 6 minutes, or I have 3 minutes left. My opponent has like 6 minutes or something like that. I'm playing much slower. I'm trying to read, and in turn, that's making me better. Now the issue is I might be too slow, where I'm thinking about things where I don't need to think about anymore. Where if I've played this hand, I've played this line, I've played this thing 30 or 40 times, then I can assume, okay, don't think about my move if I've done this move 30 times and it's working. Just play the move. And then if they do something I've not seen before, now think about, is my move okay? I don't need to think about literally every move. I need to think about the moves that I'm not expecting. Or if maybe they can make this move, or this move, and I don't know how to react if they do this, I need to think about that. But it's like, okay, this move, I do one move, they can maybe do these 3 moves off of that. I've played this line 1,000 times, I've played this line 100 times, and I've played this line 15 times. Still, I know all these moves. Why am I even thinking about that? I just have to think about, okay, if they play this move, I'm fine. If they play this move, I'm fine. If they play this move, what should I do? And I'm thinking about that instead. And then if they play this move, then I go, okay, well, last time I played this move, I did this. And I ended up winning or ended up losing. So, okay, I ended up winning that game, so that might be a good move. Let's do that move again. Boom. Let's not really think about it. Let's do the move. If I do a move and I go, oh, I lost last time I played this game, or last time I did that back to me, I lost because of this move, I'll study it. And then maybe later I'll realize, oh, it's 2 moves back where I'm making a mistake or something. But I'm trying not to think too much about it during the game. I'm trying to just use my time in places where I want to think, but I'm taking a long time when I do sit down and think. So my hands being quick, I've pretty much solved it. I'm actually kind of slow now, which I enjoy. I'm fine with that. And the last point is getting comfortable playing online. I made excuses. I made all kinds of reasons why I couldn't do 50 games a week and just sit down and play the game. I was like, I'm busy, I'm tired, or whatever. It wasn't about winning. It wasn't about losing. It was about grinding out the games and getting comfortable playing online. I just didn't do it. I'm still anxious about it. I just have to get over this. I have to keep working on it. So ladder anxiety is still there. I don't have as bad school anxiety anymore, but it's still there. I have to just continue working on it. So I'll give myself a fail. Now we're about 25 minutes in. Let's go to this month's goals. So this month / this year, the peace drop thing to get out of 2 peace drop, I want to do that by the end of this year. So I don't have any goal for promoting of peace drop within this month. I want to do it before 2022. This month, I really, really, really want to hit 7th class non-AQ, so I'm going to continue that path and just keep grinding out games, try to go as many competitions as I can, many tournaments as I can, and do that. I want to deal with tilt better. So during the games where I kind of talked about this. I won't talk about it too much again. I'm gonna just end up repeating myself. But the game I played against my rival, where I played a hand that was just stupid, I got so tilted after that game. When I was playing the 3rd class, he was already way better than me, but I was in such a poor mindset that I played like absolute shit that game too. But again, I learned from it, so I'm trying to get better with dealing with if I fuck up my own hand, and like I just have to get past it, because if you make one mistake and then you're dwelling on that mistake, you're gonna make another mistake because you're dwelling on this. You have to kind of let that go and then reevaluate where you are now and go, okay, well, we're here now. We're in this position now. I can't go back and change that hand. Now we're here. What do I do? What do I do now from here? What's my best advantage that I have? What do I do? And trying to get over that and learn from it. Don't get mad at it. Learn from it. As I said before, I want to keep fighting my ladder anxiety, try to keep playing. And then one thing I want to do is I want to get more comfortable in my tournaments that I go to. One of the reasons that I was so kind of tilted in the game against my rival is because I felt like I wanted to win that game so bad because I'm so close to promotion and things like that. And if I win this tournament, then I have this good thing, and I need to kind of get out of that and just play one game at a time. And I can only really do that by going to more tournaments. So those are my kind of goals for this month. Some of them are easier, some of them are difficult. So to do my goals, before we go into this month's training, I'm going to go into an event discussion, and I want to talk about this. So I have my first actual unnamed regional event I'm going to go to. And this is the first event. It's on November 20th of this month. This is the first event that I've actually gone to that's not hosted by my school or just with the people in my school or something like that. This is a legit event that I'm going to. I'm going to be playing people I don't know, representing my school and doing this. So I wanted to take a little bit of time of this episode, and I played one not rated games. I'm going to change how I say things from now on moving forward. Until then, I've been saying I'm doing a tournament every weekend at my school. It's not so much, it is a tournament format, but it's more I go to play rated games against other people. It's not so much a tournament per se. There was one tournament I went to at the school where you actually had to pay to get in. They had prizes at the end of it. It was fun, and I remember I took notes during that tournament. And I wanted to go over, I played 3 games in that tournament, and I wanted to kind of go over the notes I wrote. So after each game, I would write a little synopsis about the game itself and what I felt about the game. So this is my first game I ever played in a tournament. First game, it says, leagues above, opponent is leagues above me, played until 5 minutes left, and I won. So which that means is, I won my first game I ever played at a tournament against someone that was a few leagues higher than me. He was a 4th class or something like that during when I was in 8th class. I think he was also very nervous about his first tournament that we'd done at the school, so he was playing like crap. And I played until we had done, the format for the tournament was 25 minutes, no bonus time. So I have 25 minutes. If I run out of time in that 25 minutes, I'm done. You just lose on time. There's no bonus time. There's nothing. So you have to go from first hand to checkmate within 25 minutes or you lose. And I played that game until I had 5 minutes left. And, oops, I just messed something up. I just screwed something up. Whatever, I'll figure it out. So I played that game until there were 5 minutes left. So I used 20 of my minutes and I won. So again, that was back when I used to play much faster. My hands were much quicker. And I realized like I need to slow down. And, you know, when I really think and I take my time and not worried about the clock, then I play well. My opponent was kind of tilted on the clock. So that was how that went. So won my first game. Game number 2. Same or one above my level. Played until 8 minutes left and lost. Played too quickly and was not aggressive enough. Locked my Hisha behind my silver for the entire game. I'm not thinking enough, don't remember the game after, and can't replay key spots where I think I lost. Need to slow down, look at the board, really understand if there's something better for me to do. That's what I wrote. So basically what that's saying is I played faster than I did, and like I said, I locked my Hisha behind my my silver. So if we step back a little bit to this position, I remember I had a castle that was a little bit different than this. It doesn't really matter about that. But there was a move where he was attacking me and I pulled this silver down to here. And there was nothing of value up here for my opponent to attack during that game. All of it was over on this side where I wanted to be attacking. And when I moved this silver back, moved this silver back here, I locked this piece out. My strongest piece I completely blocked away from here, and then I tried to do all this shit over here, and eventually I just said, okay, screw it, and I moved this piece up like this, and finally I unlocked this guy's power, and I was able to, get a couple more moves in before I lost. But I just played really fast and really crappy, and like I said, the whole game I locked this piece behind my silver. I couldn't do anything with it, so I was really pissed off about that game, and I was like, why did I think that, of all the moves, why did I think that was the best move? I should have just left this open and maybe done this if I want to help attack over down here, just so I have extra pieces to come here eventually. So I was just really upset about like how I played in that game. So that was a bad one. That was my third game. And then last game is number 3. Played slow and really thought about the game. It turned into a Mukai Bisha, which is if they do something like this, whatever, I'll just do this. Oosh. So this means Mukai Bisha is when the Hishas are in line. So the rooks are in line like this, you do attacks like this. This is not how that game looks. I'm just showing you what Mukai Bisha means. So the game turned into Mukai Bisha. During that time, my king was over on this side here, and opponent played well, but attacked towards the corner edge and won. The opponent was Anaguma. So the opponent had a castle that looks like this. This is my opponent's castle. He ended up doing a game that looks like this. So this is kind of his setup. Kind of like this is what the game turned into. I don't remember exactly, but this is what it was. And I just saw that his king was over here and all of his important shit was over here. So I just kind of attacked up this wall. I did stuff like this. Stuff like this. So I just kind of marched this piece forward, and then I just put everything attacking at this square over here, and I just pounded up through, and I ended up winning the game. So that's how I won this game. I realized, like, oh, instead of attacking over here, let's just attack this weakness over here, because there's only 1, 2, 3 things defending it, where I'm attacking with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, right? So this is kind of my thought, and I won that game. Oh my god, guys, I can't believe this entire time I've been talking. Is this really a thing? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. So sorry. Anyway, really, this is what happened? Anyway, okay, so this is okay, I'll do it again really quick. This is what his game looked like. Mukai Bisha means that the Hishas are in line over here. Boom. So this was on Mukai Bisha. He put his castle in Anaguma, which his castle looks like this. So I brought my stuff over here. I realized that this is defended by only 3 pieces, where I'm attacking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Sorry, guys. That's what I was saying. So that was my third game, and I won that game. And then the last thing it says is other notes. Is my hands shook a lot, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I remember that very clearly, that my hands were super shaky the entire game, and I just couldn't do anything about it. So this month I've got another tournament on the 20th. This is my first tournament that's not part of the school, so I'm kind of nervous about it, but I'm also very excited. I'm hoping to do a recap about that as soon as I'm done. All right, so this month's training, let's get into it. We're hitting the 30 minutes part. I want to get done with this one quick. So this month's training, again, same as last month, 6.5 hours of lessons per week. We're doing 40% analysis of my games, 40% piece drop practice, and then 20% even hand against my teacher. And then I'm doing 4 hours, I said last time, of tournaments a week. It is a tournament format, but it's not so much a tournament. I'm going to rated games that I play at my school. Again, either piece drop tournament on Sunday or a rating tournament on Saturday. So I'm going to say rated games instead of tournament. Tournament I'm going to leave for actual tournaments. Homework is much different than last month. So this month, my tournament, my homework is I'm only allowed to play a maximum of 2 games a day. That's what my teacher said. He's like, basically, you have to get away from the board a little bit and into books. You need to learn endgame. You need to figure out endgame. And endgame is good in live games, but again, endgame is 1/3 of the game. There's the opener, the mid game, and the endgame. And if I play for 5 hours, and let's say that if I play for 10 hours, All right, if I play for 10 hours, that means if the game goes perfectly as 30%, 30%, 30% or something like that, right? Then I have spent, 3.5 hours basically on endgame. If that 10 hours is spent perfectly, where the first third of it is for openers, the first third of it is for mid game, the last third of it is for endgame, which it never is, then I've practiced endgame for 3.5 hours, and then 10 hours of not doing that. Where if I just practice endgame via books, I learn these patterns, I learn how to read, I learn how to think about the checkmates and what I can do about it. And then when it comes to the game time, I've got 15 hours of backlogged information, and then I just throw out moves that look good at the end. So no big games, we're just going to live in books. I need to do 10 what's called a Hishi puzzle every day. My teacher gave me this book that I've been reading. This is a very, very difficult book for Hishi. It's basically those moves where you give your opponent one more move and then you checkmate them. So I'm having an issue with Peace Drop about finding those moves when the king is very open and wide out and about. So he's like, you have to do 10 of them a day. This is so difficult. 10 of these puzzles a day is so hard because they are like 3 times harder than checkmate puzzles. So he is saying I need to do 10 a day, but it's like it would take me so long to do 10 a day. So I got this book. I'm going to read this book 5 times this month is what I'm doing. That's my kind of compromise. If I can do 10 a day, I will do 10 a day. But it's the third, and I've not been able to keep up with 10 a day. I'm getting my ass kicked on it. So I'm going to at least read this book 5 times this month. Next is 15 checkmate puzzles a day. So I'm trying to do 15 7-move checkmate puzzles a day. It is so difficult to do those too because they take a long time for me to be able to read. And one checkmate puzzle, until now, 3-move checkmates was, I could see one in like 6 seconds max. If I go there, he can go here. If I go there, he can go here. If I go here and he goes there or blocks, and I can do this and I win. Done. 7-move checkmates is that times multiple layers, and that's if I see it immediately. So I have to calculate a lot of lines, and then in the middle of that, like I forget where pieces are, so I have to go back and start again. It takes a lot of mental focus to do these puzzles right now in my level. So doing 15 of those a day is super hard. I need to do 450 of them this month. I'm working on it. It's very difficult, but right now I'm okay. And then just study the lines that we need to do every day. And then personal thing I'm doing as well this month is tactics. So I read the last month, one of the things I had to do was read a tactics book 5 times, which I did. But some of the things that I've lost in tournaments recently were in that tactics book. But I had not done it in an actual application over the board. It was just like I've been learning like, okay, this is the best move on this page. Okay, this is the best move on this page. When I actually saw one of those conditions on the board, I was like, oh my God, it's not so much this page, it's like this idea of the book. So like, I don't know, I found a way to get into it in a real situation. It's harder for me to see it than in a book. So I'm a little worried about this month. I have to live in the book and then I can't see it on the actual board. But if I don't find the idea in the book, there's no way I'm going to find it on the board. I'm not that smart. So I need to at least have that idea floating in my head somewhere from the book, and then the more games I play, I'll get it. So what I'm thinking about happening is probably in the future, my teacher's going to say right now, live in the books, just dive into the books, and then maybe next month or in 2 months from now, my teacher will be like, don't look at the book, just play games. Just play games, just play games. And then we'll analyze the games, and then be like, oh, Dan, in the book that you read here, remember, that's this here. You should have just done that instead. And I'll go, and everything will line up, and I'll improve. So I think that's what's happening right now. But right now, I'm just going to do what he says and live in the book. And then review the tactics book. So that brings me to my basic schedule. In my basic schedule, here we go. Bam, I've got it here. Basically, there's not a lot of changes from last month, but there are some subtle changes. Last month, I had a lesson on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And now I have a lesson, so Sunday and Tuesday moved to Monday, Saturday. So I have a lesson so Sunday I have a free day. Nothing, no shogi tournaments or anything like that. Just I have time dedicated out for me to study. On Monday I have a lesson from 8 o'clock. I study around that. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Just study. Thursday is I have a lesson that night for Peace Drop. And then Friday, nothing. And then Saturday, I've got a lesson in the morning and then the rated games in the afternoon. Right about this time here, around 6 o'clock p.m. is when my dad will call me, and I play games with him. So some of this free time I use, not as study time, but I use that as playing with my dad, which is always fun. Dad, if you're watching, I love our games. I hope that we continue them. And then again, I've got a tournament on the 20th of this month. So if I keep going at this rate, I've got how long until I've hit 10,000 hours again. This hasn't changed from last time. My lessons, if I do 7 hours of lessons a week, or 6.5, we'll just call it 7. It would take me, so I do 364 hours a year, basically 1 hour a day, or 1 hour a day is what it comes out to for lessons. So 364 hours a year. For rated games, I'm trying to play 4 hours a week, which is 208 hours a year. And then for actual just practicing shogi, as it said over here, I'm at 25 hours a week, which is 1,300 hours a year. If I add all that up, it would take me 5 years to reach this 10,000 hour mark, which I'm trying to do. So it's not changed from last month. This is my new schedule. So all that said and done, all that jibber jabber out of the way, this month has been interesting. It's my 1 year anniversary. I'm going to keep on kicking ass and trying as hard as I can. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry, it's a little bit long, 10 minutes shorter than my last one. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.